Welcome to Action Coaching. We're certainly delighted that you join us on today because we got some exciting coaching tips for you. You know, in life, nobody makes it without a coach. All of us need someone to come and help coach us. You can call it a mentor, you can call it a person that you look up to, but there are times in life that all of us need guidance in order to make it to the next level. Now, coaching is not designed to change you, but coaching is designed to bring your God-given gifts out of you so that you can use your gifts to your maximum in life. And so everyone needs a coach in their life, and we're excited that you join us on this week. Now understand, I know that there are a lot of coaching tips that I'm going to tell you on today that we won't be able to get in depth in those coaching tips because we only have a limited amount of time. But however, we can just give you some quick thoughts that you can dive into a little deeper in your everyday study and begin to develop it even more, or send to us on social media and let us know. So, well, Bishop, I'd like for you to talk on this topic a little bit longer. We can spend a whole program on just one topic. But however, we want to do the best we can to help coach you so that you can experience great things in life. I want to talk about on today, years ago, I did a message on it's not the product, but it's the process. Let me say that one more time. It's not the product, but it's the process. And in this particular message, I began to talk about how that most people want to have the product, but they don't want to go through the process. And you know, the amazing thing about going through the process is you can't speed it up. It's a process that you got to go through. It's certain things that got to be, no matter what it is, if it's a car or if it's a food product or whatever, it's going to take time before it is a good product. But the process, they just want to skip the process and go. So I want to talk about a little more on that on today, and we're going to start off by talking about the process. I don't care what dream you have, whatever you want to do, there has to be a process. Now, process is all about timing. And the thing about timing is just that. It's going to take time. I can't put a 2-year-old in the car and say, drive us around Atlanta. We here in Atlanta. I can't put a 2-year-old in the car and just say, all right, crank it up, put it in gear, drive us around Atlanta. That 2-year-old got to go through some processes before they're even able to drive a car. Meaning that, first of all, you got to get old enough to get your license. Even getting your license, you got to pass a test. You got to study for the test because you got to pass for the test. You got to take a driving test. And somebody else got to prove your license, your skills for you to get a license. And even after you get the license, all right, you got the license to drive a car now. Then you have to understand, in this world we live in, the younger you are, most likely the higher your insurance is going to be. Now that you got a car, how your insurance is going to be. It's going to be a little more different rules for you being younger because they understand if you go through the process of continuing to drive, the older you become, the more experienced you are at driving, and the less likely you are to have accidents. Now, that ain't everybody, but those of us that have been driving for quite some time, we understand that there are certain things you just don't do while you're driving a car. So everything is a process. Everything takes timing. You can't lay down one night and say, I'm going to be successful on tomorrow. There's timing in there. What does timing do? It allows you to learn and work out some things, because once you become the ultimate product, you got to produce them. We realize that athletes do great things, and seem like if we watch them on Sunday on TV every night, we just marvel at the things they do. But however, a lot of times people will watch them and say, I can do that. But then you can't do that because of the hours that they put in developing that one skill. The days they went without sleep, the exercises, the lifting weights, the mistakes they had to make before they learned better. These are all tools of success, but it also is a process. Now, I ain't never seen nobody like the process. None of us do. You know, you can go to a good restaurant, eat good food, enjoy the restaurant and the food. But if somebody tell you you got to be back in the kitchen and you see how long it takes to cook that good food, chances are you'll say, nah, I don't want to do that because I don't want to go through the process. We're living in a day and age where a lot of people are trying to skip over the process because they just want the product. And I know people that have skipped over the process and were able to get the product. And guess what they did when they got the product? They messed it up because they had not went through the process. So the process is all about timing. It takes time. It takes practice. It takes consistency to be good at any craft. And all of that takes time. So the process is one thing we all got to go through. You can't just lay down one night, and wake up the next day and you say, oh, I got it, I'm good, I'm ready to go. There's a thing called process before you ever become the product. You can look at a lot of highly skilled people, and they had to go through a whole lot of process before they were ultra rich and ultra successful at their business or at their craft. Because if a person don't go through the process, the product is going to be no good. You can almost tell when something has been thrown together quickly. The ultimate product is not good. But it takes time and time and time again to practice, to rehearse, to show up, rehearse again, to show up over and over and over again before the product is right. And that's what we like to call the process. Life is full of process, and everyone want to skip the process. I get it, because when you don't want to go through the process, it's always difficult for you. You ever seen somebody, you try to tell them the necessary things they need to do, and they go, oh, I got it, I go on. And then they come right back after they messed it up and say, well, I didn't listen to it quite right. That's what we were trying to tell you in the first place. There are things that you got to listen to. There are processes you got to go through before you can enjoy the success that you want to enjoy. So, process is a part of it. What is the process? Certain things you got to go through, experience, and have happen to you. These things got to be put in you so that when you get to a higher level, you won't get amazed at the same problems you might have because you've been through the process. Just because you got more, that don't mean that you're not going to have problems. It's just that when you went through the process, you know how to handle the problems in the way they should be handled, and that's all a part of the process. And process is necessary. Process is changing. Process take time. Everything good take time, and you got to go through the process. Now, I don't want you to go anywhere. I'll be right back to talk to you. Stop talking about how you got to go through the process before you can actually become a good product. Now, there are things that you're going to experience in the process that you will experience when you the product. During the process, things are going to happen. That don't mean it's going to happen because you got more in life now. You know, it's like, oh, I had certain problems when I didn't have money, but then I found out that some of those problems don't go anywhere because I do have money, but I'm able to handle it different. The product is a lot stronger because of the process. And the things that you go through, the things that you learn from, it helps you become stronger. It helps you to be able to deal with whatever you come up against in a more mature and consistent way, but it's all because of the process. There's an incident in the Bible, and I don't have time to go all the way through it, but Joseph, as a young man, had a dream, and he had a dream that he was going to be all over the family. They had a dream that, you know, his brothers was going to be bowing down to him. And yes, dreams are exciting. I will agree. I've had a whole lot of dreams that are exciting. It's just living out the dream was totally different. Well, when he had that dream, he told his brothers he never knew that his brothers would become jealous. They would sell him off into slavery. Tell his daddy he was dead. Actually, they sold him off into slavery. He in slavery, he gets bought by another master, and he goes work in his house. He working in his house, and then he get falsely accused by the master's wife. He in prison. He ministered to some men in prison, and he tell them about a dream he had, and he told them that, okay, now here's the dream, but when it come to pass and you get set in your place, don't forget about me. And ultimately, he ends up out of prison, and he ends up being second in command in Pharaoh's kingdom. And then he faces his brothers who did not know who he was when they were looking at him. It's amazing. The process can change you into a whole different individual. But rather than hurting his brothers, which they thought he was going to do, he tell his brothers he understood that it was God that brought me through all of this, that I might sit on the throne. I want you to understand there are a lot of things you may be going through. There are a lot of things that may be messing up while you're going through it. There may be a whole lot of disappointments in the process. But understand this, it's all a part of making you stronger, making you more determined, keeping your eyes focused on the goal. Understand that I got to go through this to get to my ultimate place in life. Not the product, but it's the process. Because if you go through the process, you're going to be the product. In other words, if a car at the factory, they put the correct things on it that's supposed to be put on a car, and they put all the circuits and the wheels and the screws and all those things together. When they put it together right, they ain't got to worry about whether it's going to drive or not, because they've taken it through the process. And ultimately, when the individual buys it off the lot, put the key in, put it in gear, and the car drives. Now, isn't it amazing? You don't ask who put the wheels on, or who put the motor in the car, or who did this and that to the car. All you know is it drives. But however, there's a process that takes place behind that car being created. So many times in life, you look at people who have done awesome things and never imagined the process they had to go through. I have heard stories of what people had to go through to get to where they are, and I am even challenged by the things they had to go through to become what they are. I understand more and more every day that God got a process that we're going to go through. The Bible says all things work together for our good. I'll be the first to admit that some of the things that are happening to me, I don't see how in the world they were working for my good. But after I came through the process and I saw the product, now I can stand up and say, thank God I had to go through that, because I'd never been here. And I understand that there's a process in everything. Even Jesus himself, when he was born in a manger, he didn't just come here and start being Jesus and working miracles. He had to wait till he was 30 years old. Now, I know this day and time, a lot of people ain't gonna wait till they 30 to do that. They want to start the minute they born. But however, it was a process for him to be the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And every one of us got to go through a process. Now, there's some of you that's going through your process right now. Don't get discouraged. Don't give up. It's just a process. Because ultimately, you're going to become the product that everybody is going to rejoice in and be certainly glad to see. And I want to encourage you that when you're going through these difficult times, you can say, well, Lord, I know that I need to go through the process that I might be the best product you ever created. Now, I want to encourage you now that though you're going through the process, keep your eyes on the prize and you'll make it. So many times in the process, people put their eyes on the things they got to go through to get the prize. And sometimes that short circuits their dreams. If you focus on the fact that I don't have no money, I don't have the skill, I don't have the wherewithal to do this, chances are you'll stop before you get the money, the skill, and the wherewithal to do what you're doing today. But you gotta know, it ain't the product, it's the process. The product will come as a result of the process. Now I want to hear from you. What are processes you going through, but you can see your product? There are ways to handle these different processes that you're going through. One of the things you got to understand about going through the process is certain things got to be tested to see if you will survive when adversity comes. Some of the things I've been through, I thought they were going to kill me in the process, but it only made me stronger. It only made me more bold in what I was endeavoring to do, because I had survived the process. I had survived the things that I needed to so that I could be the good product that I am today. And even in life, a lot of things before, if you're in school, before they give you a degree, matter of fact, before you get a degree, you gotta start in first grade. And then you gotta go first through 6th or 7th grade, whatever it is today, to just get or diploma to get out of what they call elementary school. And then after you get out of elementary school, you gotta have certain requirements to go to high school. And then you gotta go through high school, and you gotta take all the classes in high school. Now you gotta have certain requirements to go from high school to college. Before you can get in college, you gotta go take the SAT. You gotta go to all the ACT or whatever they're doing in this day just to go to college. Then when you go to college, before you graduate from college, you gotta spend 3 or 4 years to get a degree. If you want a higher degree, you gotta spend more years to get a higher degree. And then after that, you gotta spend more years to get even a higher degree. Isn't it amazing? The higher you go up, the more you get paid. Because they're gonna pay you a lot because they know you've been through the complete process, and ultimately you are a very special product. And other people will be able to learn from you because you went through all of these things, you went through the process to achieve what you achieved today. I found out in life, nobody want to listen to a person that hadn't been through some things. Everybody want to listen to somebody that been through the process and came out a very good product. Don't want you to go anywhere. I'll be right back to talk to you.
Tap somebody and say, I'm made for miracles. You know why God allowed things to happen to you? He want to teach you that there are about 5 people got it. He want to teach you that there are. So whatever the devil knock you back with, God said, now's the time to show him that he can't keep me there. Y'all ain't talking. Now is the time to let the devil know. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world.
Thank you for being a part of Action Coaching on today. Thank God for you. Certainly want to encourage you to encourage others to be a part of Action Coaching each and every week. Hit subscribe, hit likes, let your friend know about Action Coaching and how Action Coaching is blessing you. And we certainly want you to be a part of Action Coaching when it comes on, because we're giving you coaching tips that will help you climb higher in life. I certainly want to encourage all of you to sit down and sow a generous seed faith offering for Action Coaching, because we want to do bigger and better things. And through your financial support, it's going to allow us to do bigger and better things here on Action Coaching. I am so excited about the future of Action Coaching, and I understand before it will be its ultimate product, we got to go through the process. But through your financial support, you can help us go through this process. There's a link in my bio that will give you a host of ways to sow unto Action Coaching, and I certainly want to encourage you to help us as we do the work of God. I know that God is going to richly bless you, because when you make somebody else's vision happen, God will make yours happen, and that's what sowing is all about. Well, the Lord bless you. I certainly enjoyed talking to you once again. And as I do each and every week, I want to encourage you. Share the word with a friend and keep the word in action.